Lofi Poli Sci live? Coming near you soon? ? We steal the waves in the air and we never give them back. We are.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are.
Lofi Poli Sci. Yes, we are. Lofi Poli Sci podcast coming at you. Michael Pickering here, bringing you that lo-fi global news fresh off that press. And jumping right into it, a headline from the BBC Africa Live section. Begin quote. Zimbabwean couple freed in fake presidential nude case. End quote. So I saw this and thought, well, I just cannot help myself, really. Now I know you were thinking this is a joke, and it's funny. But you're going to see really fast how funny not funny this really is. Let's start by saying Zimbabwe has a 46 out of 100 Freedom House score, meaning they're partially free but on the lower half of that 0 to 100 score. Keep that in mind. So in June of 2020, over 1 year ago, a couple was arrested for a post on WhatsApp of a picture of the president with a mask over his private, but otherwise in the nude. Since June of 2020, people, they were in jail this entire time and just released by local magistrate because the prosecutor's office never brought them to trial. These two were arbitrarily held in prison for over a year without being put on trial and just released, all because of a WhatsApp post of a fake nude picture with a mask over the genitalia of the president. You see? I told you. Funny, not funny at all. Now, let's move to Cuba for a story to that. Well, frankly, shouldn't be much of a surprise either. The Cuban government is looking like they may sue, wait for it, Facebook. That's right. How damn funny, not funny is this as well? Cuba getting ready and threatening to sue Facebook for helping anti-government protesters. I mean, first off, in what court system would you ever sue Facebook in? Question to the Cuban government. Because I doubt Facebook would ever show up in court in Cuba, and we all know that the Cuban government isn't about to use the U.S. system to file a lawsuit against Facebook. So, this is just all complete nonsense. Facebook is fine, Cuba is bitching, people are protesting, and the world keeps spinning. But now, it's time for Thursday's edition of the game. That's right, it's time for that lo-fi trivia. Oh yeah. 5 fast-paced questions about the world coming at you. Number 1, how many countries are in Central America? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There are 7 of them. Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and last but certainly not least, Honduras. Number 2, in French, what letter does the word Germany start with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Survey says the letter A for Allemande. And in German, what does it start with? A D for Deutschland. And that's exactly why doing countries list in alphabetical order makes absolutely no sense, because the moment you change the language, they're in a completely different order. Number 3, if Vietnam is a communist socialist state, and China is a communist socialist state, and the United States trades with Vietnam and China, then why does the United States have a trade embargo on Cuba, also a communist socialist state? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Survey says no damn reason at all. At least not a good one, so to us, that means no reason. Question number 4. Is the world upside down or right side up? Think about it. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For your answer, come back tomorrow. Number 5. How deep is the lowest depths in the ocean that we found so far? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 36,201 feet, or 11,034 meters, in the Mariana Trench, which is deeper than Mount Everest is tall, which is 29,032 feet, or 8,849 meters. So the Mariana Trench wins by about 7,000 feet, or almost 1.4 miles deeper than Mount Everest is tall. Now you know. Now back to that lo-fi global news, and let's head over to Thailand for the latest there. And here, really a combination of two stories about Thailand: their Supreme Court, the Monarchy, and the United Nations review of human rights in the country. Spoiler alert, none of this is good. So there have been anti-monarchy protests in Thailand for some time, wanting reform and the removal of those lèse-majesté laws in Thailand that make it illegal for a person, to talk bad about the monarchy. They can face up to 15 years for talking noise about the monarchy. Well, the Supreme Court of the country said that changing this law was unconstitutional, and thereby cementing future trials for pro-reform activists in the country, 3 of which are slated to start soon. 15 years for talking shit about the monarchy. But we're not done, because the United Nations reviews countries' human rights every so often, and called shenanigans on Thailand for the existence of this same law. And what was Thailand's response, you may be asking? Well, let's go ahead and hit you with that quote, because I don't want to put this in my own words. This is from a foreign minister representative from Thailand, in response to the United Nations saying that this law is some bullshit and against human rights. Begin quote. It reflects the culture and history of Thailand, where the monarchy is one of the main pillars of the nation, highly revered by the majority of Thai people. Its existence is closely linked to safeguarding the key national institutions and national security. End quote. It's easier to let people discredit themselves sometimes, because realize that was an explanation for why equality is wrong in Thailand, and why the monarch should be above all of our people. So, of course, it sounds a bit odd to be telling the United Nations Human Rights Council when you try to explain why equality isn't good for your country. But we'll keep you updated if anything else happens with this one, listeners. And a quick note to other listeners out there who have been asking, why aren't we covering the COP26 United Nations Climate Summit going on right now? Or the COP26, whatever you want to call it. And simple. It doesn't end until Friday, tomorrow. And it's pointless to cover speculation on what the entire world is going to do or not going to do about climate change in this summit. But we will be covering it next week and talk about the big things, or the nothingness, that came from COP26. So tune in for that. And a last piece of news to send you on your way for the day. So a volcano has been going off in La Palma, Spain for quite some time. We mentioned it briefly once, but never really covered it again. I bring it up now because a specific headline caught me, and then some pictures of Earth being created. We commonly say that land is the one commodity not being created anymore. And don't give me that crap about Singapore, China, and the UAE doing it. You know what I mean out there. But take a long look at these pictures of the lava flows reaching the ocean. And literally, earth and rock are being created. And it reminded me of the awesome power of the planet and the natural cycle that volcanoes go through with the earth. And really, people, do yourself a favor and take a look at these pics and this volcano as it meets the entire ocean. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Interested in writing into the show? Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, myself on LinkedIn. Email us, let your voice be heard. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Peace and well-being to all my human beings out there. Much love and always the best. Pickering, signing off.